We'll start with our international editor and we'll say a very good afternoon to Isabel Oakeshott. Hello, Izzy, are you busy?
Oh my God, yes, I am so busy. I think as is the entire media today, because it is an absolute whopper of a news day, somehow combining the inauguration of Donald Trump with that sensational development in the Southport murder trial. Very unexpected that Axel Rudikabana pleaded guilty to pretty much everything, if not everything, that he was charged with. I must say that there will be a number of conspiracy theorists who wonder why it was that development took place on the same day as the inauguration, and whether the authorities perhaps had a hand in the choreography there. It is tremendously convenient for the Prime Minister as he faces a slew of allegations about a cover-up and catastrophic failures of the so-called PREVENT programme, that all this is coming out on the day that Donald Trump is...
Well, let's just say it very quickly before we get into the inauguration. This piece of scum, Axel Rudikabana, got referred to the government's counter-terrorism group, PREVENT, several times. Nobody did anything. He's admitted this afternoon, this agent, to stabbing 3 young children to death in Southport. There will be many people with an opinion, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't want to make today about Starmer. You could argue that that has been released for that reason. And then I'm watching in farcical moments today on several news outlets. What did he say, Keir Starmer? Good luck with your inauguration, President Trump. I look forward to our special relationship maintaining itself for years to come. I said it as a joke. Alex Phillips went to the inauguration. Sir Keir Starmer didn't get invited. Liz Truss is at the inauguration. Donald Trump, Starmer didn't get invited. I think this man is, fresh from sending people to help Kamala Harris lose, that's going to get right under the Trump skin. I just think he's an inconsequential human being, increasingly day by day. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think he's pretty inconsequential on the world stage. I mean, so far, all his international efforts seem to have been blunders, if we look at the Chagos deal as the most high profile of those. And the Trump administration will, of course, pay lip service. They'll go through the motions. I don't think they're going to veto Labour's chosen one for the ambassadorial role, Peter Mandelson. I think that will probably go through. There have been some speculation that Trump may say no to that. But I don't think that either Donald Trump or his inner circle have any time or respect for Keir Starmer. He embodies everything that they hate.
And can I just say, I think there's all this talk about this special relationship, and there was do you remember when even Theresa May, when he first won in 2016, she was inside the White House as the first foreign leader within 7 days. I think he'll be at the back of the queue. I think that speaks volumes, and I think you could argue that Donald Trump is somebody who holds a grudge or whatever. But yeah, Starmer, a complete embarrassment. What I wanted to talk about briefly, because we've got loads to talk about, is we're all in bated breath waiting for him to be inaugurated. I'm also all in bated breath to wake up. See, he says, I'm going to destroy Joe Biden's legacy within hours. I gave one earlier saying that allegedly he's going to get rid of, legally, you won't be able to use pronouns in any federal building, which will be absolutely fantastic. He calls it a revolution of common sense. Thank the Lord, Isabel, right? Thank the Lord.
You might think the Trump team have been listening to talk.
Yeah.
They'll get some good ideas from us, and we'll hopefully get some good ideas from them. Yes, he said basically this is a kind of shock and awe by executive order, and he's promised us all great entertainment as we watch him using the power that he has to unravel as much as he can of Joe Biden's legacy. I think people will be particularly interested to see what he plans and what he's about to do on immigration and everything that he's been saying about mass deportations. I think he means business on that. And what happens over there is, of course, a source of either, depending on your political viewpoint, horror or inspiration here in the UK. And it will be fascinating to see, what does mass deportation of illegal immigrants in America actually look like? Because we know what it looks like in developing countries, in really rough regimes that don't muck around. But what does that look like in leader of the free world America? And is it something that we could do obviously on a more modest scale with all the people that should be deported from the UK?
Listen, don't go anywhere. We're watching the pictures of the rotunda. We're waiting for Donald Trump to come in. I can tell you that J.D. Vance, the Vice President-elect, will be sworn in first. And apparently, Isabel, you know this, Trump will be sworn in as the 47th US President at 4:47, or his speech will start that moment. However, you and I have got disagreement already. We've got a voice note from Neil. He's not a happy bunny. Go, Neil.
Hey, Jeremy, just want to say it is an absolute joke that Donald Trump is going to be becoming president again. And now that he's only got 4 years to implement everything, he's just got to go mad and the world's got to pay for it.
Isabel Oakeshott?
I think the world's paid a very heavy price for his predecessor, the outgoing Joe Biden, all sorts of nonsense that he presided over and all sorts of failure to make things better on so many levels. So I'm not really sure what the caller is referring to. What's he worried about? Is it the unraveling of the net zero absolute con that is inflicted on us by Ed Miliband as well? Is it that he wants to hold on to diversity and equality and inclusion claptrap? Is it that he wants lots of government waste? Does he not want Elon Musk to smoke out all the gross abuse of taxpayers' money that happens on the other side of over there in America in the same way that we have it here? I'd love to know what that caller...
I guess the thing is, I was reading a couple of people online today who I probably shouldn't have, and they were saying, you know, this man's he's done this to women, his language, he's done this, he's done that, he's an absolute flipping disgrace. The fact of the matter is, I've never sat here and pretended that Donald Trump is perfect in any which way. Some of his rhetoric and some of the things he's done, I categorically disagree with. But you look at the world. Justin Trudeau, that pathetic wet liberal, has been driven out in Canada. You're quite right about Joe Biden, right? The left have been in power in America for 4 years. And the popular vote couldn't wait to oust him. They've done nothing about immigration, the very subject the left hate to talk about because, oh, my God, these poor people. No, there are many poor people, and both America and the United Kingdom and Europe has done right by those people, but there's a lot of people nowadays taking advantage. What Donald Trump did was he managed to stand up and say, this is what I believe in, and you can try and assassinate me, you can try and prosecute me, you can try and slag me off, you can do whatever. I believe that this is what America needs, and I think that it's a seminal moment. The whole of Europe's gone to the right, America's gone to the right, I've no doubt Canada will go to the right, and stupid, idiotic Keir Starmer is sat in the middle of our country worrying about... Well, look, I mean, somebody said to me in the makeup room today, you know, how do you respect a man who still won't agree to a national inquiry into rape gangs who have been doing what they've been doing for 20 years in this country? Donald Trump, I can tell you categorically, would have instigated a national inquiry into those rape gangs within 5 minutes of becoming Prime Minister. That doesn't make him a perfect human being, but it tells me he understands what people want, Isabel.
Well, what he would have also done is ensured that any of the perpetrators of those crimes, known perpetrators, as soon as he had the power, if he could find a way, because of course even presidents aren't almighty, he would have had them either deported if they're not British citizens, or ensured that they were behind bars for a proper length of time. And people in this country just feel that there hasn't been proper justice for the victims of the rape gangs. It's still going on. It's amazing the way that story has actually kind of caught the popular imagination over in America in a way that not many of our stories actually do. That really seems to have had cut through, of course, thanks to Elon Musk getting on board with it and really winding things up over it.
But I mean, also going back to that text that person sent about America, whether you love him or you loathe him, I mean, I'm of the mindset that we should be proud of our country. We should protect our children. We should try and do the right thing. And there is absolutely no doubt that that is a stain on everything that the United Kingdom should be about. And I'm not just laying this at Keir Starmer's door. There's obviously been a cover-up rather, and I just know that somebody like Trump, I mean, yes, there'll be crazy executive orders. Actually, can you help me? What is the difference between an executive order and a law? Can an executive order be thrown out by the Senate or Congress?
I don't think so. I think that's kind of the point of it. I mean, it doesn't mean that they can just announce any old thing. But I think that the point of it is they're within certain parameters. a president can just say, this is what's happening. And that's what Donald Trump intends to do.
Interesting watching those pictures. If you are watching on YouTube, I'll provide a commentary on radio. So, officials and politicians gathering in the Rotunda ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. And we're now having a sort of, all the old presidents are coming out. George W. Bush has just arrived, smiling. Brilliant, with his wife Laura. Bill came before that. I love how hacked off Hillary Clinton looks. She looks angry every single time I see her, as does Kamala Harris. Brilliant, because they didn't win. So George has come out. George is a character, isn't he? So all the presidents. Now, one thing I wanted to take up with you is there was that great, I don't know if you saw the footage at Jimmy Carter's funeral the other day. There was Donald Trump and I have to say Barack Obama, Isabel, having what looked like an incredible chat. And Kamala Harris looking like somebody put vinegar in her knickers. I'm really, really not happy at all. But Mrs. Obama is not coming today, whereas all the other wives and first ladies, ex-first ladies have done. No excuse. What do you make of that?
Very suspicious, isn't it? A lot of speculation.
Oh, he's just walked out on his own. Barack Obama's just walked out, 44th president of the United States, on his own. Everybody else got a wife. DOVORCE, do we reckon? Or is she just anti-Trump that much she ain't turning up?
I mean, look, I don't have any inside knowledge on this. I'm going to say that straight up. There can only be two explanations in my view. Either one, their relationship has broken down and there's a lot of rumours about that, or two, there is an illness situation that they wish to keep private, and it could perhaps affect, maybe it's not her, could be one of their children or something, I don't know. But it has to be something mega, doesn't it, to miss that?
Well, you know, and they say that she's a principled woman who's making, you know, a stand. And then you look at all the others who absolutely loathe him, like, yeah, I know, that's why would you miss that? I wouldn't miss that. Would you miss that?
No, of course not. That's not going to fly, I'm afraid. Whoever the spin doctor there is, they need to get a better one. Tony
Lowe says, I've changed my one-word description of Starmer from sinister to liability. That's Tony in Sheffield. I wouldn't disagree. So we are live. I don't know who the hell that is. Oh, look. I think Supreme Court justices are all coming out next. They've come out after the presidents. They all got put in by Trump, didn't they? He's got that sewn up as well. It is pretty astonishing, isn't it, Isabel? Bearing in mind the sort of character that he is and how he splits the public straight down the middle, and some of the things he's done and some of the things that he said. It is extraordinary, the control he has today. The 20th of January 2025, bearing in mind what happened 4 years ago, this man has complete control of the political system, does he not, in America?
Well, not complete control.
Well, almost.
The way it's sort of devolved in America, but he controls the White House, he controls the Senate, and he controls the House of Representatives, and he controls the Supreme Court. So that's a pretty good sweep. And that is a very different position to where he was when he came in 2016. And also, you know, I think the left-leaning establishment is firmly back in their box. You know, they can't question in the way they did first time round the legitimacy of this president. Last time round, they seemed to think this was some kind of freak aberration, something that just should never have happened, and they can, you know, put everything into their power to get rid of, make go away. And this time around, they've kind of got to accept that he's got there really on his own merits after they threw everything they had at him.
I mean, that's really interesting as well. You get the distinct impression. I just saw him coming from the church service to the White House where Joe Biden went, welcome home. You see him, he looks more experienced. I think he probably arrived in Washington, D.C. 2016, probably didn't know what was going. There's a hush in the rotunda now. Oh, yes, there must be a hush. A very, very, very hacked off. Oh, no, Kamala's not coming. It's Mr. Kamala and Jill Biden, who doesn't look very happy because it's all over for her as well. But it is extraordinary. This is a political comeback, and it will be very interesting to see. They've all written about, you know, Trump 2.0. I think it will be more controlled. I think it will be, yes, there'll be moments when it's madness and all those sorts of things. But he went and he laid it on the line, and the result of that is that he won the popular vote, which I don't think a Republican presidential nominee's done for many, many years, has he?
Sorry, Jeremy, can you repeat the question?
Don't worry, I just said, I mean, it's an extraordinary victory, and he won the popular vote despite all that's happened. I think he's a different animal to the one that got the job in 2016.
absolutely a much more confident, assured Donald Trump, not that he ever was exactly lacking in confidence. And, you know, after all, a guy that has survived a very, very close brush with death with a assassination attempt that literally missed his ear, his head, by just a matter of a few centimeters. So this is somebody who I think will approach government slightly differently than he did last time. I mean, the leopard doesn't change his spots. You know, we're still talking about what one of our previous contributors, talking to Ian Collins, called a hand grenade on legs that can detonate at any time. But I think that this is going to be a president who is much more sure of his agenda. He comes with clearly now vast experience and has laid it out very, very openly what he plans to do and the battles he plans to fight. And I think he's going to be all powerful in these early months.
Listen, Isabel Oakeshott's going to stay with us. She's going to watch these things going on and she'll come back later on. Thank you for now, Isabel. Just